Hi Year 12, welcome to your industry study video tutorial. Today we're going to finish off technical considerations by looking at new and emerging tech. So technology still continues to be one of the biggest impactors on industry at every stage of, the design, manufacture, produce, distribute state, like every stage and every area of industry continues to be impacted by new and emerging tech. So the evolution of technology is advancing, at an ever-increasing speed, and it's widely replacing either, methods or materials in all parts of our industry. So in terms of the last few decades, we've seen the emergence of AI and robotics, particularly in logistics and in warehousing. We've seen fiber optics and the way in which, information is communicated has changed the way in which goods and services are distributed, and rapid prototyping with 3D printing as a new and emerging tech has really revolutionized the industry. So an emerging technology that's particularly relevant for, I suppose, the timber industry over the last, 10 to 15 years has been CNC machinery or computer numerically controlled machinery. Basically, a CNC, CNC router, CNC lathe, whatever it is that you're particularly looking at, is a piece of machinery that can be programmed by a computer. So most of the time, a designer will draw up the product in a CAD software. So, whatever CAD software that you're using. And the machine will then take the drawing and produce the product. So there's actually, besides from starting the machine, there is very minimal input in terms of the actual manufacturing product. In terms of the real benefits of this new and emerging tech is that CNC machinery can produce products in a fraction of the time that it takes to be done by hand. And as it is computer numerically controlled, you get a really precise replication of whatever was done on, the CAD software. It is incredibly accurate. And what it means is that there's whole parts of the manufacturing process that were previously completed by hand that no longer are required to. This has huge implications for, the production line and the speed at which you can manufacture. In terms of the multimedia industry, 3D printers have really revolutionized both, the way in which we produce and the way in which we prototype. So 3D printers allow for rapid prototyping, in the fact that I can mock up a design without actually having to, produce it. Say it's a part for a set, or say it's, something that I'm going to do stop motion with. I can actually really quickly design it on a CAD or, Illustrator or another piece of multimedia software, print it to my 3D printer, and in a couple of hours it's there, and I don't need to spend that whole long process on designing and making by hand. 3D printers have also, decreased the amount of time it takes to design a product as well, in the fact that I could, sub out parts of my design with 3D printed models, which means I can spend more time working on other parts. So say it's a set and a costume design, I'm able to 3D print whole parts of costuming. Say it's for animation and using tracking, I can 3D print whole parts of that costuming to work for motion tracking, rather than requiring expensive parts. I can actually 3D print, simply design and 3D print. So 3D printing has really revolutionized both the prototyping and the design elements in terms of multimedia as well. And they're just two examples. There's lots of emerging tech, but they're just two examples that are relevant for both industries, guys.